Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fulton Street Beats, and welcome to the last video in the Chinese manufacturer build-off. Now, this guitar you see in front of you is kind of a throw-in at the last minute. It wasn't meant to be in the competition because we kind of have a bit of a forfeiture of a brand that was coming in. Not that they're not sending the guitar, it just wasn't able to arrive in time to meet the logistics of these videos. So we will be bringing you that guitar in the future, and we will be, reviewing it and demoing it. But unfortunately, it just wouldn't be in time to insert into these videos in a timely manner. So we have this Wildcard guitar here. You guys have seen Hu Yangshu Dawn's guitar. You have seen the actual Epiphone Kirk Hammett Greeny, and you have seen Cathy Zhong's beautiful version of the Kirk Hammett Greeny, which is currently on the leaderboard. This guitar is a relic, if you can see. This is a relic guitar. We have covered the headstock logo on this, as we have most of them throughout this build, and it will be revealed eventually. But this is a really good looking guitar. We'll try to get some good pictures of this and put them around here in this area. It's a nice guitar. It really is. And what I really like about this guitar is the neck profile. It's a nice, smooth, pretty fast neck, and it's set up extremely well, and it sounds really good also. And we'll demonstrate that for you. But if you guys notice, this has a wraparound bridge on it. That's right, a wraparound bridge, which is very, very cool. Personally, this is the second guitar I've ever owned with a wraparound bridge, and the first one was a Pilot Dog Do, and that was a guitar that was by Gibson, but not an actual Gibson. But it just wasn't, it was like a student guitar, and it just wasn't a nice guitar. But this one actually plays and sounds well, and I always thought I was going to have troubles with intonation on this guitar. A lot of people say there's intonation issues with these style bridges. I haven't ran into that issue with this guitar. Very well set up out of the box, and a nice low action to boot that we will get here in a second. But mahogany body, we have that flamed relic maple veneer on top. It looks really well. Very legitimate looking relic for sure. And we have really nice frets. They're not polished to a high shine, but they are nice and smooth with a really nice fret job. Appears to be a dark rosewood fretboard on it. The nut is cut extremely well. Action is perfect. The pickups, as you'll hear, sound really, really good. And it's overall a good looking guitar. I'm going to cover something on the back here, but we're going to show you the back of the relicing of this guitar. Tuners are stable, and that kind of surprised me, and they actually feel of quality too. So that was also a good surprise. The binding is like an aged white. I don't want to say cream, but more of an aged white. And as you can see, it does have the Les Paul on the end of the headstock. We have some chips and dings in this, and it really fits the character of this guitar. But if you look on the back here, it actually says Slash Prototype #1. Now, this guitar is kind of an oddity because I don't believe Slash ever had a Prototype #1 with a wraparound bridge. So this is an off-the-shelf guitar, by the way. This isn't a custom build. I decided to throw an off-the-shelf guitar in this for you guys so you can see what an off-the-shelf guitar would be like from Cathy's custom guitar. This is an off-the-shelf guitar. I had some stuff done to it. I had a cover put on the back that has a G logo on it. That was done for me. I had that done. That was my request. The guitar doesn't come that way, just so you know. If you want something like that, you're going to have to pay extra, or you can just buy it yourself and put it on, go online, go on Reverb, whatever you want to do, and pick up one of those covers, and you can put one of those on. But it does have the nice amber knobs on it. The knobs fade in and out very nicely. I've been inside the guitar. They are small pots, but they're small 500K pots. So a lot of you guys are familiar with those. Lately, we've been seeing guitars with small 500K pots, and they fade in and out really, really nice. It's got the nice strap buttons on it, so we can't dock it for strap buttons. Like I said, the wraparound bridge is nice. The pickups sound really, really good. It's got a good overall presentation, and it is kind of realistic looking when you look at the guitar at a glance, although, of course, like I always say, when you really look at the guitar, they're different. Of course, they're always different. First of all, a Slash model with a wraparound bridge, I don't believe there's ever been such a thing. So basically, we have a Les Paul shaped guitar that is not a Les Paul, so we don't want to pretend that it isn't a Les Paul. But it is a cool guitar, nonetheless, a very slim neck, slimmer than you would find probably on any Gibson of the era that this is trying to emulate. But nonetheless, a cool guitar. Like I said, tuners are fantastic. So let's look in the guitar like we do always and see exactly what it isn't. Is this going to compete with these other guitars? Communication, once again, with Cathy. I'm going to score this again just like we do the other guitars. And we're going to go through this one quickly because it is an add-on. But this might be right up your guys' alley. And this guitar would run you guys right around $345 to $365 in its current form with what I have had done to the guitar. So I want you to keep that in mind out of the box. Movement to the flame also, guys. Really nice movement to the flame. Really realistic looking relic job. A lot of relic jobs don't look very good. This one actually looks really good. Communication with Cathy, as always, is definitely a 5-star. So we're going to rate this as we go and try to get this done quickly for you guys. So that is a 5-star. Shipping speed on this was also a 5-star. When I decided to purchase this guitar, it was shipped right out. So that's good. We also have another guitar from Cathy we'll be reviewing shortly too. Actually quite a few because I'm finding her to be the best builder. So that's where I am investing my money into my personal money for my personal collection. So just keep that in mind. General appearance, definitely a 5. Hardware on this guitar. We'll go over the hardware real quick. Like I said, the tuners are very, very nice. They're very, very stable. I'm not used to that with these style tuners. I'm not used to tuners like this being nice, but if you actually look at these tuners, you'll notice that they're quite sturdy compared to most of the tuners you get on these Chinese guitars. So it looks like an upgraded tuner. I could be wrong, but they look really good. They work well. They hold well. The hardware is nice. It has the nice buttons on it. The setup of the guitar is excellent also, but hardware, we're going to give it a 5-star because everything works. It's a lot more simpler because we have the bridge, of course, and the tailpiece are one and the same, and it's intonated. So there's really not much to knock as far as hardware goes. It's done well. Frets are done well. So 5 stars. Fit and finish of the guitar, well, it's a relic guitar, but yet where it matters is really nice. No knobs are hitting. Everything's installed properly and straight. The bridge position is proper. The strings are passing over the poles properly. Everything's working properly. It looks good. It's got a nice binding, although it is wore in certain spots on purpose. The paint meets the neck properly. The relic to the headstock and the relic to the back of this guitar is done properly and very realistic, and you can see the mahogany underneath this red. The routing of the cavities is nice. Overall, very nice shape, and no complaints there. So we have to give that a 5-star for fit and finish. Price versus value. It's a really nice guitar for the money. I mean, where can you get a guitar that out of the box needs no setup work, no work, and you actually can take it and play it and have a good time with it and have it hold tune? So it's definitely good in the price versus value, but it is a Chinese guitar. It's not their upper end guitar. There's a lot more features you can get with a guitar, but $345 for this guitar is really not a bad price. Could be around, I'm going to be honest, could be around the $300 mark. So we're going to give that a 4 on that. And keep in mind, guys, this is not a custom. This is an off-the-shelf guitar. So actually being in this competition really isn't fair. Yeah, we'll keep it at 1 on this one and bring it down 1 on that for price versus value. Simply because I think paying a little bit more, the $500-600 range gets you far more for the money. Not that this is bad, but far more for the money. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So tone, when we go to tone of this guitar, which you guys may have already heard, you may have not, but you're going to, we're going to give the guitar on tone. I'm going to give this particular, even though it does sound really good, it's one of those guitars that does a certain genre really good, but not everything really good. And I hope you understand what I'm saying by that. Certain guitars don't do everything well. This is one of those guitars that don't do everything well, but it does your old school rock well. It doesn't shine with metal. It doesn't shine with certain types of funk, but yeah, other types it does. We're gonna get to go 4 stars on the tone. It does sound good. I don't want you to think that it doesn't. And our signal chain has a lot to do with that. So I'm basing off of the signal chain that I am using here that I compare all guitars with. So I'm going to give that a 4. To a lot of you, that may be a 5, or it may be less. It may be a 3. But for me here and my purposes here, I'm definitely gonna give that a 4. Feel in the hands, I'm going to give it a 4 also. Not that it feels bad, because it feels really good. It has exquisite frets. It feels good in the hands, but my flavor, it's just a little bit different for me. So we're going to give it a 4 on that also. We'll average these all out in the end, but that's where we're at right now. Now, a high score to beat is a 4.8. The low score to beat is a 4.1, and in the middle we have the Epiphone with a 4.5, which did extremely, extremely well. It just cost too much. So we'll see how this averages out in the end. But as always, let's get into this guitar and see what's on the inside, because we may have to drop these scores if we get into here and something's not quite right. So those scores can change as we go. So keep that in mind. So let's loosen up these tuners and let's get started. Okay, we're going to try to save these strings because I like to do demos with the factory strings to show you what it's like out of the box. Here's our wraparound tailpiece, and underneath this tailpiece, guys, Epiphone. Once again, quality parts, an actual Epiphone wraparound bridge. I was not expecting that at all. So good thing there. So it does maintain the hardware. It does maintain the hardware score of 5 so far. Let's get into these pickups and see what we got here. Okay, we pull this top pickup out, and here we go. Here's our pickup. We got an N10, neck 10 marking on it, and we got really nice routing inside. We don't have a neck tenon or anything like that, but very nice routing, very nice quality. Obviously CNC machined. We can see a little bit of wood glue in the bottom there, but that's no fuss, no muss on that one. The cavities are routed very, very exceptionally on this guitar, so that is good. We'll stick that one back in here. Decent weight to the pickup, not super heavy, but not super light either. Let's go into this routing. And this is has no label on this pickup whatsoever, but again, really exquisite routing inside of this. These cavities are very, very nice. I like to see that. I like to see a nicely routed cavity. I'm going to look at this top here, and what we have is mahogany, and looks like a maple on top. I do like it's got a really good looking fretboard on here. It does need to be cleaned up, and we're going to kind of clean this fretboard up here before we're done, but the frets are really actually pretty shiny, and the fretwork is really nice on this. Very good looking fretboard. One thing nobody ever does when they review guitars is pull off the pick guards, and I like to do this because I want to see if the finish underneath the pick guard is uniform to the rest of the body. A lot of times there may be something or hidden blemishes underneath. So let's check this out, and no blemishes at all. And actually a really good looking guitar without the pick guard. No special labeling on here, but we do have it as a proper color. Very, very good looking without the pick guard. I think I like that look with this guitar, and I think it really slashes it up quite a bit when you do that. And another thing I like is uniqueness with these different colored pickups. We have the cream here, and then we have the zebra black and cream here, which is really nice also. Let's flip this guitar over carefully here, and let's remove this cover and see what we have for electronics. Now, of course, I told you I've already been in here. I've been through it, checked it out, wanted to make sure everything was before I presented this to you, because this wasn't meant to be in this competition, like I said. But now it is, and how is a off-the-shelf guitar going to compare to these customs, you know? I think it's a pretty reasonable question. A lot of you can't afford a custom guitar, so how is it going to compare? Okay, so here's our routing inside. Let's blow it out. See if there's any dust in there. Keep everything clean. And we have small pots, but like I said before, guys, they're done well. It's just 500K pots, and you can actually tuck these wires. These wires are out because of me, actually, because I pulled the pot to show that they say 500K. So these are indeed, I'm not going to do that again today, but 500K pots, small green pills. They do the job. They do sound good. And you can see where they routed out to put these pots in, showing that it has a pretty decent sized piece of maple veneer on the top. So that is good to know. Also, and let's get into here, because I have not been in to this. Now, this cavity cover for the switch is not a normal piece that comes on these guitars. Just so you know, this was an add-on that I wanted. And you can buy these. So basically, I purchased this. Let's see what we got in here. There we are. Okay. Once again, very nice routing. We do have multiple holes, and I believe that that is due to this cover being in a certain direction. So, very nice routing. Looks very, very good. And then we have our cavity cover, which was on this way. And it makes me wonder if it should be installed this way. I'm not sure how they install these on the Gibsons, but I'm going to roll with how it was because the holes are already there. Looks good. Fits in, goes back in a lot easier than when it came out, that's for sure. But there we go. And it fits nice. It's been shimmed, and it fits very well there. Very heavy, too. If you guys are wondering, it's a very heavy piece. This isn't plastic. This is an actual piece of metal. And I'm going to screw this back in by hand, because I don't want to mess anything up here. Really quality piece that they put on there. Not a lot extra, guys. If you look at the stuff on Reverb, those plates right there, these Gibson custom plates, which this is not a Gibson, but I wanted a Gibson custom plate on it. And I paid for it. So you guys can buy one of those too if you want to. You can have somebody install it. And that is the upcharge. But very nice looking guitar. Very nice playing too. I think that it's going to hold the scores that we just gave it. And we're going to go over and we're going to get some final thoughts on this guitar. And then you're going to hear this guitar play. And I think you're going to like it. But let's see how this fretboard shines up real quick. I'll throw some... if you guys think you know what this is, no, this is not what you think. I just simply refill this. This is my own mixture of cleaning solution that I use. I'm not going to even tell you what it is, because that way I don't get any disagreements on it. All I can tell you is that it works. And this is a blend that I've come up with that I believe works really, really nice. Is there some lemon oil in it? Yes, there is. But there's also a few other ingredients that really help with the cleaning and the longevity of the nourishing of the fretboard. And it's literally this fast. Very nice frets. Now that I can see the shine on them, there's not any tooling marks on them either, so somebody took time to do the frets right on this. I'll tell you, there is no buzz on this guitar either, anywheres. They are all level. That's the first thing I would tell you. If they weren't level, that we'd have an issue there, but we have no issues with that. And that is that quick. And this is actually dry and ready to play now. A little mixture that I use to make it not greasy and maintain that shine. Beautiful, beautiful feeling frets on it now. Especially, we can get into the truss rod cover real quick if you guys want to look in there. And let's see what we got here. This one we have no compound. Actually, it's a nice, very clean route in this one. One of the better routes that I've seen. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but very clean, no compound in there. There is our truss rod. How far down is it? A lot of people want to know how far down before we hit the truss rod. Boom. Truss rod is that deep in it. So just so you know, not way down in there like a lot of them are, but not right up top like a lot of them are either. So okay, guys, we're set back up. Let's get a quick action here at the 12th on the low side. We're about 1.1 millimeters and 1 millimeter on the low E. Set up extremely well. No buzz, nothing like that. So that's pretty cool. Quick measurement at the 12th in millimeters here. We're gonna try to just shove this in, go to the center, clamp her down. And we're at 21.6. 21.6. If you go to the first, we go to the first here. You can get a good one here. We're about 20.4 there. So just so you know, it's a nice neck. It's a nice feeling, comfortable neck. Let's get over final thoughts, play this thing, and you guys tell me what you think. 340, 345, up to 365 if you want the medallion. But the overall very cool guitar in stock. I think there were like 4 of these left. Wasn't going to review it, but I said, hey, let's try to see how one of her guitars that's just an off-the-shelf guitar that you can get compares to a custom. Now, honestly, let's be truthful. It's going to still average out pretty well. It's not going to be, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be the Epiphone copy or the Epiphone tribute that she did, the Kirk Hammett tribute. It's not going to beat that guitar because that's a $600 guitar that is just exquisite. It's a work of art. Although this guitar is a very nice player, it's not, not as much time goes into this guitar, but nonetheless, a pretty cool guitar. Let's go over and talk averages. Stay right there, I'll be right back. Okay, so this was very, very interesting, and the results are not even what I thought that they were going to be. Now, there's a lot of criteria that they had to meet, and there was no bias in between for any of the criteria. Pretty much we let the numbers speak for themselves, and a lot of these numbers are subjective. I mean, we all like different things for tones. We all like different things for feel and for different things for setup. So this is all, of course, based on my numbers. Yours may be different, so keep that in mind. But what I can tell you is every one of these guitars, every one had a really, really good build quality. The Cathy Zhong guitar, the custom, had a far superior build quality than any of them. But that's not knocking any of the other ones, of course, because Cathy put a lot of time and effort into that custom build. Now, it's a $600 Chinese guitar build. And what the Chinese can do for $600 is just amazing. Money goes farther there. We all know that. So that's a no-brainer. So let's talk about each one of these. We're going to talk about the last place guitar. And that is, well, that is this one here. This is the Hu Yangshu Dawn SG. And it is a beautiful guitar. And it plays very well. And it sounds really good. It's got great sounding, hot pickups. They're not microphonic. Everything works like it should. And I think we can all agree it's an outstanding guitar. Yes, if you see lightning bolts on the inlays, I have done that. It did not come that way. Tuxedo look. Lost a few points for communication. So let's go over a few of these points right now. We'll touch base on all of these guitars and really where they they shine and where they don't shine. So let's talk about the Hu guitar really quick. We'll move on to the other ones and find out the surprises that's going on here. So communication with the builder of this guitar is where it really fell off. That was a 3. And simply because, well, I think they're a little green and a lot is lost in translation with this particular builder. I don't think it's their fault. I think it's just how it is, but it does affect us generally. It does affect you if you're purchasing, and we have to keep it real. So that was a 3. Shipping speed was outstandingly. It was fast on this guitar. It really was. They had to do some upgrades. Obviously, they didn't custom build the guitar like they were supposed to from scratch, but they did end up putting on the proper white pick guard. And we went over that. If you follow the video to this look at this guitar, you'll know where it fell short and where it didn't. General appearance was a 4 on this guitar, and that simply lost points because of the pick guard not being a 3-ply and not having the proper black in the center, and little things like that. Things that I requested on this guitar that didn't come on this guitar. So general appearance was a 4. Hardware's a 3 on the guitar because, well, it didn't have the small bridge pins that I requested and a few other things that I requested on the guitar, so we had to give it a 3. And those were the things that really brought it down in its average, although it still is an excellent guitar. Fit and finish on the guitar is outstanding. Superb fit and finish. Every one of these guitars have very, very nice frets. If I had to pick a guitar that has the worst frets, I would say this guitar, but they're not bad. So keep that in mind. It's nothing that anybody would ever complain about. But the other guitars are, well, just a touch better. Price versus value. Well, it's simply a 4. It's a 4 out of 5 on this guitar. It's a $300 guitar. But it could have been made just a touch better had they have done the things that was requested as they should have. Not knocking the builder. Like I said, communication barrier. Setup on the guitar is definitely a 5. It has an outstanding setup. The frets are level. The action is low. And it's a great guitar. Feel in the hands is definitely a 5 also. It's a great playing guitar. Feels really good in the hands. You get lost when you're playing this guitar. So that's a good thing also. So that's our scores. We have a 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, and a 5 for a total average of this guitar of 4.3 in the end. And yes, those the setup and the feel in the hands were the add-on scores for these guitars. So it did change its average to 4.3 for this guitar. Pickup values on this guitar were 12.3 at the bridge, 12.23 at the neck, and 12.23 at the bridge, 12.23 at the neck, and 5.35 in the middle position. A very balanced, rounded guitar for sure. Hu Yangshu Dawn. I found him on Facebook. Guys, really hard people to communicate and get a hold of. Do I recommend their guitars? I like their guitars. I do like them. I got nothing against them, but you might have trouble getting something from them in the communication process. So let's keep that in mind. However, you may have trouble in the communication department if you do decide to order. I found them on Facebook. A lot of chips and groups. You might see them in there if you're looking. Also, let's move to, well, let's talk about the Epiphone. The Epiphone, I am sad to say, but not sad to say at the same time, that the Epiphone Kirk Hammett Greeny, the actual Epiphone that I purchased, is gone. And that is because it was a big investment for me to buy that guitar at $1,600 with tax. That's right, about $1,600 with tax. Not that it was a bad guitar, because it wasn't. It was a really, really good guitar. Epiphone did a really good job with that guitar. Where they didn't do a good job on that guitar was little details that might not mean a lot to you, but meant a lot to me. And the price. I think it's a very overpriced guitar for what you're getting. And we'll show that here in the end. But let me give you the scores of that Epiphone, just so you know. So the Kirk Hammett Greeny from Epiphone is a $1,500 guitar here in New York. It's about $1,600 with tax. Communication, got it from Zhong's. Fantastic communication, 5 stars. Shipping speed, literally overnight, less than 18 hours. 5 stars. General appearance, 5 stars. Hardware, we gave it a 4-star because it came with the shittiest strap buttons that you can put on guitar. I don't know why they're still using those today. And we knocked it down a point for that, and I do that on every guitar that has those. Price versus value. This is where it really ran into the hiccup, and I gave it a 3 simply because we don't have $1,000 in body in that guitar, although we do have $300 pickups and a $200 case. The rest of it does not equate to $1,000. It's not a limited availability guitar. They're very mass produced. There's no COA with those guitars, and there's no COA with the actual Gibson version of those guitars unless you're paying upwards of $20,000. And I think $20,000 to pay for a COA for a piece of paper is pretty asinine in my book. But anyhow, the Epiphone version doesn't come with Kirk Hammett on the guitar anywhere. It is his signature guitar. It's not a Greeny Moore guitar. It is a Kirk Hammett signature guitar. They call the Greeny, but it's a Kirk Hammett signature guitar. It's the Epiphone. It's not the Gibson. But there's no indication of that anywhere. There's not even on the case. It's inspired by Gibson, but there's no indication of what it really is. It didn't even say Les Paul on the headstock, even though the original didn't. Also, some different touches would have been nice on that guitar, and I believe that the finish on that guitar should have been a gloss finish, seeing as how they didn't relic anything on the guitar, but just buffed down the finish for really no reason that I could see. So we gave that and price versus value a 3. It got a 3. Now that I look back and I think about it, I think I actually should have probably given it a 2, but we'll roll with 3. Now, we'll talk about tone. It's a tone monster. It sounded fantastic. It was a great sounding guitar and had the lowest pickup values out of all of the guitars. Setup was a 4. It wasn't the best setup guitar out of all the guitars. And every other guitar, the setup was a 5. That's right. Every other Chinese guitar was a 5 in setup with a really superior setup on the other 3 guitars. But this one was a 4. And, you know, I guess it is what it is. We can't change it. But Feel and Hands was a 5. So we had an average of 4.6, very good 4.6, even though their score dive bombed in the price versus value department. It was a 4.6. And the bridge pickup was 8.67. The neck was an 8.15. And the middle position was a 4.23. Not hot pickups at all, just a middle of the ground average pickup. But they did work really well. They're Gibson pickups, the actual Gibson pickups they put in that, and they sounded good. We can't knock that at all. And now let's talk about the next guitar. And this is where you're going to find this to be a little bit crazy. So this is the one we just looked at today. And this is an off-the-shelf Cathy custom guitar. Now, this might sound weird, but I just wanted to see what an off-the-shelf, because their other guitar was so fantastic. I wanted to see what an off-the-shelf guitar would be, just picking one that I kind of liked at random, and this was it. And I gotta tell you, it does not disappoint. Communication, once again, was a 5 with this guitar. Shipping speed was a 5 with this guitar. General appearance, well, it's a damn good-looking guitar. It's a really cool-looking relic if you're going to do a relic. This is what you'd want. It's cool. It's a light relic. It's not a heavy relic. It's a light relic, and it's done very, very well. General appearance, 5. Hardware on it, we ain't got a lot to choose from for the hardware on it, for sure. And I'm saying ain't. That's right, even though that's not a word. But we have the old school tuners on this, and they're a little different from what you see on other tribute style guitars. These are more heavy duty. They're a 1:18 ratio, and they have that green hue to them. Very vintage look to them, heavy duty. I have no issues with these tuners. They're very positive and feel really good. And as I was just stringing this guitar back up, it really confirmed what I felt with to begin with. They're really a good tuner. So the hardware on this guitar gets a 5, no doubt. The wraparound bridge is an actual Epiphone bridge. We can't knock that whatsoever. And it's intonated very well. So hardware, 5. Fit and finish, another 5. Exquisite frets, so the neck's set up properly. The inlays are done proper on every one of these guitars. The inlay work was very nice on the guitars themselves. Very, very nice. Price versus value on this guitar. It's a 4. We got price versus value. It's a 4. And why is it not a 5? This is why. Because this is a 340. It's still a good value. It's 345 to 365, depending if you want a medallion on the back or what have you, if you want to put one of those on. Why is it not a 5? Simply because if you spend a little bit more, you can have a full-on custom build that is superior to everything, right? So that is why. Not that it's a bad value. It just could be better. You can get what you want. You don't have to order off the shelf. Now, yes, there is a wait for those. This is off the shelf. I think there's 4 left of these the last I checked. I'll leave a link for media and transparency purposes. Nothing more. If you guys decide to order a guitar that is not on Fulton Street Beats, that is on you. You are big boys and girls, and you're adults and make your own decisions. But my job is to give you all the information that I have. So we're going to do that. Setup on this guitar, another 5. Very, very cool. Feel in the hands. Now, this is a surprising one. It plays really nice. But I only can give it a 4. And the reason I give it a 4 is because, well, we're all built differently, and this guitar feels like a 4 to me. When I hold the guitar, it feels like a 4. It's got a nice neck. It plays nice. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel as good as the other 3. Just doesn't feel as good to me. That might be different from you, but to me it doesn't. It doesn't fit my hands like the other 3 do. So I have to give it a 4 on that. 4 on that. Pickup values, however, 11.2 on the bridge. We have 10.44 at the neck, and then we have 5.31 in the middle. Very good sounding pickups. Tone of this guitar is also a 4, as we talked about earlier. It is a 4 because it does a few things very well, but you kind of got to mess with your signal chain for other things. And it's something that I can't really put into words. But if you're an old school rock and roll guy, you're a Zeppelin guy, you are a Steve Miller, you are anything like that, then this guitar will suit you just fine. Once you start pushing the boundaries and heading over into the metal side, you got to have your signal chain just right to get those tones. But out of the box, those are the things that this does best. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I'm not knocking it. You can get there. It just takes a little more work to do it. So I gave that a 4. So this is in a tie for second place. This guitar right here scored also a 4.6. Now, this is what surprised me because I didn't know the numbers when I was averaging these out, what they would be. This guitar tied the Kirk Hammett $1,500 Epiphone in the end. And I look at the guitar and I go, well, I kind of can see how it does. It's a very well-rounded guitar. It's a well-rounded guitar. Doesn't shine over anything, but it's not bad either. It's well-rounded. Be a nice guitar to add to your collection that you can grab and use. And like I said, you can get any sounds you want with it. You might have to work with it a little bit, but it'll do it. It's a very capable guitar. So it made sense. And would I rather have this guitar than the $1,500 Kirk Hammett? Well, if you take off that $1,500 value or what the guitar cost, and you're just talking about guitars to play, I got to tell you, I probably would pick this. If the name or the price of what it cost didn't mean anything, this is probably the guitar that I would grab to play. And it might not make sense in the scores because, like I said, it's not the best feel in the hand. The Epiphone felt better in the hands. But there's something about the guitar, maybe an aura score if we ever did that. I know to a lot of you that makes no sense. But there's something about it that's cool. It has a cool factor. It could be the relicking, just that cool relicking. It could be the point that there's never been a Slash AFD prototype #1 with a wraparound bridge. I don't know where that came from. If you guys know, if you've ever seen one, please let me know because I never have. I don't know. But it's there, and it makes it a little bit unique and a little bit cool, whether it was actually done or not. So let's talk about #1 now. Let's talk about the #1 guitar. And that is this custom, actual custom, probably one of the, I'm just going to say it. It's the best guitar that's ever came through here. Period. Bar none. I'm just going to say it. People might not want to accept it or agree with it because they have a hard time and cognitive dissonance kicks in and their fanboyism kicks in and their favorite team might be losing. This guitar right here, this beautiful Beautiful work of art right here is amazing. Now let's talk about this guitar. This is a $600 custom build from Cathy's Custom Shop. Yeah, the same place that the Slash guitar came from that's off the shelf. So for a few hundred more dollars, you got something like this. This is a really heavy mahogany body. This came in at 9.1 pounds, by the way. It was 0.1 of a pound off from the actual Greeny. The Greeny was 9.2 pounds. The Epiphone, the actual Epiphone. This has actual Epiphone tailpiece as well. We have the proper knobs on here. We have the pointers. We have a flamed maple top that this does not show in these fluorescent lights, but it is exquisitely beautiful. And I've put pictures of this up all over. Everybody absolutely agreed. The back of this guitar is exquisite. It has real Grovers on it. 1:18 ratio. Jumbo frets with a dark rosewood fretboard with an aged cream binding with the proper color pickup rings, pickups to die for, a tone to die for, a feel in the hands to die for, a bone nut, clear cavity covers, that is right, clear cavity covers to show off the CTS pots that are inside of this guitar. And I wanted, well, a different logo on it because I wanted this to be like Epiphone should have built the $1,500 Greeny. And to me, this is what the $1,500 Greeny should have been. A gloss finish with zero buff down to it because that's what it needs to be in my eyes. And we had Les Paul put on it. We have an old school font of Epiphone on here. And we have Kirk Hammett for a serial number in the back that you guys probably can't pick up. The little touches. This was built to my specifications, a custom build for me, a personal build that I wanted done for me. This is a personal build that will never go anyplace. And like we've talked about before, this guitar right here is my brainchild of what I thought a custom Epiphone should have been. And I think it was done very, very well. We'll talk about scores of this guitar and where it fell off. It fell off in one spot, and sometimes it just is what it is. Now, if there wasn't a hiccup in delivery, this guitar would have scored a perfect 5 out of 5. Communication is outstanding with Cathy's Custom Shop. She goes over things that you probably don't even know you need to go over. I can tell you right now, she's very busy and very swamped. She's a custom guitar builder, not a seller, but a custom guitar builder. You can buy from her, but you can order custom guitars with your logos that you want. Want your name on it? You can have your name on the headstock, and that is cool. Make up your own name for a guitar, whatever you want, your specs, whatever you want. She can do it. She's awesome. She really is. Communication's a 5. Shipping speed I dropped to a 4 because there was a hiccup, and this guitar got shipped to the wrong mic. That's right. Luckily, it got all figured out, and it ended up arriving safely, but there was that hiccup, so we had to knock that to a 4. General appearance, of course, is a 5. Hardware is definitely a 5. It's just an amazing. The fit and finish, I wish I could rank it higher. High as you can go is a 5. It's a 5. Price versus value, wish I could rank it higher. It's a 5. Nowheres else are you going to get a guitar with this build quality. And if you guys have seen inside this guitar and watched the build quality inside and the routing and everything else, you know what I'm talking about. This is exquisite. It is beautiful. It's well done. Now, this does have a thick maple cap, and what they did is do a very, very thick veneer over that. That's how this was done. And this top has more movement than you could ever imagine in these fluorescents. It's not going to pick it up in real life. It is amazing and fun to look at. It's fun. So fit and finish is a 5. Price versus value, 5. Tone of this guitar, definite 5. My favorite player. I love it. I love this guitar. I keep wanting to thank her. I want to thank her over and over for building this guitar because it's like she got in my brain and built me exactly what I needed. Things I didn't even know I needed, and it's in this guitar. Very cool. Setup, outstandingly low action with no fret buzz. Like I said, jumbo frets. amazing sounding guitar. Tone is amazing. Feel in the hands is amazing. Pickups. Now this is very cool because I have recently learned that I like a touch hotter pickup in the neck position. Why would I want that? Well, that's a good question. Why is because when I'm doing a lot of Metallica riffs or chugging, I like my neck position to be a little hotter to get those chugs, those extra grunts out of those chugs. For you guys that like metal chugs, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want it weak. I want it a touch stronger in the neck position. But I discovered something. When you add a touch hotter neck pickup in the neck position with a reverse polarity magnet, you've just uncovered a sonic marvel, and that's what this turned into. So, mistake. I didn't know how it was going to work out, but it worked out. And what we have here is we have an 11.95 at the bridge, a 13.64 at the neck, and a 6.37 in the middle position. That's right. So this is hotter in the neck than it is in the bridge, and it works very well with reverse polarity. That's right. We got a reverse polarity pickup. So then we got a total of this. It's a 4.8, but for all intents and purposes, this is like a 4.888. It's a 4.9. Scored a 4.9 out of 5. And that's damn good. Is a clear winner. By far, wasn't expecting it. Now, we had another guitar that was going to be in this competition, and the Cathy's off-the-shelf guitar took its place. Why? Because it's here, it came, and the other guitar did not arrive in time. And unfortunately, I'm not going to mention the name right now, but we will bring it to you when it does arrive. I assure you, we will bring it to you. It's just not going to be in this competition. It lost by forfeiture. Could it have been better than Cathy's? It very well might have. Although I will say, this is going to be a tough guitar to beat, probably for a long time. But who knows? Maybe it would have. But we had a tie for second place, and a tie for second place with a guitar that's $345 to $365 versus a $1,600 guitar says a lot in the way guitars are being built in China these days. And this is a crazy outcome, one that I didn't think was going to be this way. But it is this way. So here's what we're going to do. Chibson Owners USA on Facebook and I have got together. And we are going to present Cathy Zhong with an award. That's right. We're going to present her with a plaque, an award. Congratulations, Cathy Zhong. We're going to present you with a plaque here in a few days for Best Chinese Custom Guitar Builder. And we're going to present that here on this channel. I want to give Mike RT a big shout out for arranging this with me. It could have been Epiphone getting the award. That's the funny part. Could have been Epiphone getting the award. We're not biased here. But this is how it turned out. Could have been Hu getting the award. Yeah, I know a lot of people might feel like she had two guitars in it, but honestly, I wasn't expecting an off-the-shelf guitar to place second, let alone run with an Epiphone. Wasn't expecting that at all. This guitar is beyond expectations, and she deserves the award. And so that's the award for 2024, going into 2024. That is the Best Chinese Builder Award, and that's going to be presented. We're going to do that every year here at Fulton Street Beats. So I hope you guys like this idea. I think she deserves an award for building such an outstanding guitar. And I've always heard rumors about her being the best, and she has proved it to me. And until it is proven otherwise, well, she is definitely the queen of guitar building. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, it's rock and roll that makes the world do that many things. Peace. Bye.